Hey y'all, welcome to a very special episode of
Oodles of Oodles.
This is the second installment of my
Year-end top 11 metal albums of 2022 list.
if you haven't checked out the first episode, stop this video, go back and check out episode number 1 because I kind of give a little spiel. I don't want to have to give it again, I just want to get into it. Up first, we've got Pharmacist, Flourishing Extremities on Unspoiled Mental Grounds. This band hails from Japan. They are doing the carcass worship thing. In particular, they focus on the necroticism era of carcass worship, but they give it their own spin. Their guitar work is excellent. They've got guest guitar from Andrew Lee, who's in Ripped to Shreds and a bunch of other cool bands. He does a fantastic job on the leads. The songwriting is probably the best it's ever been from Pharmacist. They're pretty prolific as far as the amount of stuff they release. They've only got 2 albums out, but they have done a slew of splits and EPs, so be sure to check out their entire discography because I haven't heard anything from them that's bad. But this is probably the best thing they've done yet. If you like Carcass, you're going to love these guys. Also, if you like bands like Pathologist, Hemorrhage, all the cool gore grind bands, you're going to love these guys. Definitely check out Pharmacist if you haven't already, and as I said earlier, be sure to check out their entire catalog because it is already getting quite vast and it is quite excellent. But this is their second full-length, Flourishing Extremities on Unspoiled Mental Grounds. This came out on Severed Records. They also, I believe, had vinyl and cassette release through Hell's Headbangers. Definitely give this a spin if you haven't already. Fantastic fucking gore grind album. Up next, we have Human Barbecue with Red Sun Rising. I didn't listen to a ton of Slam this year, or I should say not a ton of new Slam this year, but what I did hear, this was by far my favorite slamming brutal death metal album of 2022. This came out on Reality Fade, and Reality Fade puts out a ton of cool shit. If you haven't checked that label out, definitely do so whenever you have some time. But this thing is just heavy as all hell. It is crushing, it is brutal, it is
Ignorant as fuck.
It's everything you want from a slamming brutal death metal album. It is just so ungodly heavy. I love this. This has been on repeat. This band features a member of Putrefied J. Putrefied J also put out a really good album this year, which you should check out. I believe it's called Annihilating the Weak. But I like this album slightly more. This is Human Barbecue, Red Sun Rising. They have a fucking fantastic name. I love that name, Human Barbecue. And the music is every bit as fantastic as their name, so definitely check this out. Again, this was out on Reality Fade. This is Genocide Pact with their self-titled album, which came out on Relapse Records. Again, this was actually a December 2021 release, but since it was so late in the year, I bumped it up to my 2022 list. This is just some kick-ass, crushing, bolt thrower-inspired death metal. And I'll be honest, I heard the previous album from these guys, and it did absolutely nothing for me. I decided to give them another chance when this came out, and I'm so glad I did because they have improved drastically. Again, this is just some dirty sounding, bulldozing, old school death metal, with a little bit of a doom influence to it, but mainly death metal. And this is just a fantastic album. It's short and sweet. It's right around 30 minutes. It just gets in, kicks your fucking ass, and then gets the fuck out. And that's exactly what I want from a death metal album. A lot of times December releases don't get the love they deserve because everybody's trying to get their year-end list out, myself included, unfortunately, in this case. But yeah, Genocide Pact, self-titled album on Relapse Records. If you didn't check this out when it came out in late 2021, man, you got to check it out. It will crush your goddamn skull. I was debating on whether or not to put EPs on this list or limit it strictly to full lengths. I decided I would include an EP if it warranted such. And of course, anything from Napalm Death warrants inclusion on a year-end list because this band has only gotten better with age. This is their EP, Resentment is Always Seismic, a final throw of throws. I'm so glad that I grabbed this and didn't fucking take them for granted as I sometimes do with bands that have been around forever that I love. This EP is just fucking amazing. It's grindy, there's a little bit of hardcore influence, it's experimental, there's a couple covers that are really cool of Slab and Bad Brains. Napalm Death's throwaway tracks or B-sides, most bands would kill to have songs as good as Napalm Death's cast-off tracks or extra tracks or whatever you want to call them. Whether it's an album or an EP, they've continued to expand their sound and evolve their sound as the years have gone on. And quite frankly, I feel like, ever since maybe, oh gosh, let's say Utilitarian, they're the best they have ever been. They've put out some of my favorite shit in the span of those years from Utilitarian to now. Everything they've done has just been fantastic, and I feel like a fool for not checking out their album, this past album when it came out. But like I said, I didn't make that mistake with this EP, and it just kicks a ton of ass. If you haven't grabbed this yet, don't take Napalm Death for granted. They won't be around forever, but for now they're out there kicking ass, so definitely grab Resentment is Always Seismic. This came out on Century Media. Check it out. Well, guys, that wraps it up for this episode of Oodles of Brutals. Be sure to check back with me. The final 3 albums of my top 11 metal albums of 2022 is coming soon. So watch this space, stay tuned, all that good shit. In the meantime, here's to ya. Cheers, take care.
Peace.